Well, good evening, fans. Welcome in here tonight on AudioSportsOnline.com, your home for the Hamilton Southeastern Royals. I'm Rob Kendall. Lex Zorn will be along with us here in just a little bit as we fill in for Brian Scott tonight. Brian has the evening off, so we will be bringing you a doubleheader JV varsity action Hoosier Crossroads Conference matchup as your Hamilton Southeastern Royals travel to Zionsville to take on the Eagles. Should be a phenomenal night of high school basketball. A great place to watch a game here at the Zionsville Gymnasium on the beautiful campus of Zionsville High School. A lot at stake for both of these teams tonight when we talk about the varsity side of things. And, of course, rivalries abound on the JV side as well. Still got about 6 minutes up on the clock. Both teams going through those pregame warm-ups. We're winding down with those. And now, as you can see, the Royals there right there in the center of your screen, they're headed back to the locker room. We'll pan the camera around, head over to the Zionsville Eagles. I'm going to steal those starting lineups from you, Leck, and then we'll bring Leck in and talk a little bit about tonight's game. For your Hamilton Southeastern Royals tonight, it will be number 5, Josh Fugate, a junior, 5'11". Number 20 is Matt Harris, a sophomore, 6 foot. Number 25 is Dylan Hooks, a junior, 6 foot. Number 50 is Maber Majak, a freshman, 7'1". And number 35 is Chris Grubbs, a freshman, 6'4". So, again, for your Royals tonight, Josh Fugate, number 20, Matt Harris, number 25, Dylan Hooks, number 50, Maber Majak, and number 35 is Chris Grubbs. For the visiting Zionsville Eagles, or for the home team, I should say, the Zionsville Eagles, it'll be number 15, Luke Mann. Luke Mann is a junior, 5'10". Number 5 is Jordan Hull, and Hull is a 6'2" sophomore. Number 21 is Mark Smith, 6'3", a sophomore. Number 44, Hogan Orbaugh, a 6'8" sophomore. And number 11 is Jake Ritter. Number 1 is Jake Ritter, 5'11", a sophomore. So Ritter, Mann, Hill, Smith, and Orbaugh tonight for the Zionsville Eagles. So about 3.5 minutes up on the clock, and at this time we will bring in our my cohort for the evening, the one and only Leck Zorn. Leck, it's great to have you with us tonight. Should be an exciting doubleheader high school basketball action.
Well, thank you, Rob. It's great to be here. In my 5 years of my sports commentary career, this is my first time ever being here at Zionsville. I've commentated Zionsville games before, but just not on this campus. So it's great to be here. This is a beautiful community here, one of the fastest-growing communities here in the great state of Indiana. They have some of the best facilities I've ever seen here. The football stadium, this basketball gym, which looks like it can accommodate around 4,000 people, and just the school itself. And on top of that, we have these 2 great games to cover tonight. Hamilton Southeastern having a great season. They enter the varsity game ranked number 11 here in the state in Class 4A, the highest class here in basketball. They have a record of 12-2. Meanwhile, Zionsville doing very well also at 9-3. So it should be a very, very tough competitive game. And I'll tell you, for this varsity game, for this JV game, the warm-up, I really am curious about taking a look at this freshman for Hamilton Southeastern, Maber Majak, who's 7 feet 1 inch tall. He's played a little varsity action this year, not much. He wears number 50. He towers above his teammates here, as well as his opponent, Zionsville. Doesn't look like has anybody anywhere close to his height. The tallest player on Zionsville's varsity team, Will Alcock, is listed at 6'6", although they do have Hogan Orbaugh, the starting center for this JV game, who's listed at 6'8", which is tall for a JV player. but even he, looks quite short next to Majak. So it'll be interesting to see how he looks tonight and how he develops over these next 3 years. We don't know if he's done growing yet or not, but certainly, if you have any player on your team, a freshman who's that height, you got to be really excited about him, because even if you can just improve his skills to being average at that height, he can be very, very, very effective here in high school basketball.
So, not to cut you off there, Lek, but as you can see, both teams headed out to their respective benches. The Royals are going to be the visitors on the scoreboard tonight. They'll wear the road blue, gray letters and numbers. The Eagles will be the home team. White jerseys, green letters and numbers. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, yeah. No problem. But, yeah, in high school ball, most of the time, if you have a 7-foot player, he's going to be, in a lot of cases, 8 inches, sometimes, some's even 10 inches or more taller, than the next tallest player on your team. So obviously gives you, a great inside advantage. So now we've got 36 seconds left here on the pregame clock. It's winding down, and so it's great to have this. This is actually the first JV game I've done all season. I've done JV games in the past, but this year, Rob and I have been out in Cascade doing their boys and girls varsity, but we're not doing the JV, so it's great to. I always enjoy doing the JV games because you always like to look at the future of the program. You do the varsity games, and that's exciting, of course. But I always like to do the junior varsity in addition to see what players these guys are developing. It's like looking at being a Major League Baseball fan and tracking their AAA affiliates, seeing how they're doing, because that's how your team's going to look in 1, 2, 3 years.
Yeah, and again, we're going to have our starting lineups introduced to the crowd, and then our national anthem. And I want to thank Greg Shellhouse and the entire athletic staff at Zionsville High School. They are outstanding. They do a wonderful job, always taking good care of us, so we definitely want to thank them for their usual amazing hospitality. Lek, I'll take 1 and 3. You take 2 and 4 like usual?
Sure.
Okay. Can I steal that starting lineup list there?
Oh, of course.
Of course. I will return it from where it came.
No problem.
Royals have been introduced now, and you can see them huddling on the far side of the screen there. Now we'll pan over here and let you see the Eagles be introduced. It's going to be very interesting tonight to see how the Royals respond. Obviously, a big Hoosier Crossroads Conference matchup, and as you said, Lek, a lot of people don't look back on the JV records at the end of the year, but they are important. Gives you a chance to see what the varsity may look like, and obviously the big, literally, guy that everybody is interested in is Majak, and there's Majak going to tip it up tonight against Orbaugh.
If I were a betting man, I'd say that Majak wins the tip, but we'll see.
Well, it's not usual that a guy that's 6'8" is tiny, but Majak did win the tip, but it's taken away by the Eagles, and so Zionsville will start the offense. Ritter has it, takes it all the way to the center of the floor, goes right side over to Hill. Hill gives it off to Mann, to Ritter, dribbling high on the wing, and now dribbles behind the back, takes it under the basket, pulls it up, fires it up top to Mann. Mann dribbles to the left side, picks up the dribble, tried to go backdoor, nowhere to go, now goes down inside, little spin move, jump shot, up, off the glass, no good. Rebound to your Royals, and here comes Hamilton Southeastern. Up across the 10-second line. The first time they've had the ball today. Run a little weave there over to Fugate. And it's going to be it's always good to get off early, Lek, especially even in these JV games, because you play with a shorter amount of time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, although they have increased it. When I was a kid, it was only 6-minute quarters. Now they've upped it to 7 as Majak turnaround jump shot, no good.
Rebound Grubbs draws the foul and will go to the free throw line and shoot 2.
5:57 to go here in the first quarter. No score in the first half of our double. We're in the first game of our doubleheader tonight. It's a boys varsity, junior varsity doubleheader. Between these, and the first free throw is no good. But, these two teams are rivals here in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, and just about 20 miles apart from each other here in the north suburbs of Indianapolis. Second free throw is good.
So first points of the ball game, the Royals lead it by a score of 1-0, and now Zionsville will come back the other way. Eagles moving from left to right. And now that's Ritter high on the wing with it. A little bit different view than our fans are used to as now Grubb steals it, gets it to Majak. And now here come the Royals back the other way as Harris has it, pulls the ball out. And now Grubb's in the lane, little running jumper up, no good. Rebound pulled out of there by the Eagles. Now a nice little backdoor pass underneath the basket. In the lane to Orbaugh, puts it up and in for two.
Zionsville get their first lead coming nearly 2 minutes in.
2-1 our score. 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter of action. JV contest, Rob Kendall, local Lex Zorn, filling in for Brian Scott tonight. Brian will be back tomorrow. And it'll be an exciting evening of basketball there. We'll tell you about that a little bit later on. Then into Majak, reverse layup, missed it, grabs the rebound off the hands of the Eagles defender, and out of bounds. It'll belong to the Royals. Majak strikes me as the sort of guy, just seeing him for the first time, obviously we had heard about him, but strikes me as the sort of guy that with another year of coordination and another year in the weight room is going to be a big presence.
Yeah, I think so. And, of course, I don't know. I don't know how long he's been playing basketball, but, if he gets his skills refined, he'll be a good one, especially if he grows a few more inches.
Yeah, nice save there by the Royals to keep the ball. Harris will fire a long three. It's up, no good. Rebound pulled out of there. And a nice pass into Majak. Missed the shot, tipped it up again. Couldn't get it to go. And now back the other way come the Eagles, stripped away. Ball on the floor, stolen away. Grubbs has it. Foot race to the basket, lays it down. Nice slam dunk that time. And Chris Grubbs, the freshman. Majak gets a lot of the attention, but Grubbs, a phenomenal standout. And right there showing why.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And, you look at some of these, Grubbs already is 6'4", by the way, as a freshman. He dunks it there. One thing interesting about doing JV ball, Rob, we've done both a lot of JV ball over the years, both football and basketball. And you look at some of these big schools, you see a lot of guys who would be playing varsity for a lot of teams in the state, some of these JV players.
Yeah, it's really a luck of the draw, some of these smaller schools certainly that we get a chance to cover throughout the course of the year. These kids would all be probably starting as freshmen, not only on the team, but starting as freshmen.
Yeah,
sophomores.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, for example, those of you, I'll hold that thought till later.
Yeah, Grubbs has it now top of the key. Flips it off over to number 5. That's Fugate. Dribbles between the legs. And now it'll come over to Harris. Harris gets it up to Hooks. Hooks back over to down into the big guy now. A little scoop shot up, no good. Tipped up, no good. I tell you what, he's going to keep shooting it, and that's probably what they've told him to do.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to get better.
Yeah, I mean, he's taken 4 shots already, missed them all, but they haven't been bad shots. They just haven't fallen. So,
and you're only going to get better with practice, as now there's the inbound for the Royals.
Yeah. And, you like to win these three-pointer there, no good.
Yeah, that one up that time by Harris was no good. Rebound out of there to the Eagles.
Of course, you want to win these games, but the main thing is to get your guys some game action.
Yeah, behind the back dribble now, as that's number 5, Hill. And now over to Ritter. Ritter takes the high screen, knocked away, loose ball, tipped up, pulled out of there by the Eagles. 3 ball in the way is up and good. And that was number 15, Luke Mann for 3. That'll make it a 7-3 ball game.
Zionsville run off 5 consecutive points now after they gave up the lead.
Little pump fake that time. Fugate in the lane. Loose ball tipped up, pulled out of there by the Royals. 3 ball left side. It's up. It's off the front of the rim. Tipped up again. Nice job that job by Majak. That's where B at 7'1" comes in handy. Just able to throw an arm out there at it.
Yeah, he tipped it over to his guy, yeah.
And he's a long 7'1". I mean, there's not really a short 7'1".
Yeah, he's got those long arms like Manute Bol.
Yeah, so we will see, obviously look forward to seeing him in the coming years as hopefully we'll be out covering him for years to come. 1-on-1 now. Oh, nice move. Missed the layup. Tipped up and in for two as Majak with the deuce.
Yeah, so that was a great spin move there. And then good job, even after he missed it, just putting it back in.
Probably going to be a pretty good crowd tonight. Obviously, a big Hoosier Crossroads Conference matchup going to the hole. Majak may have got the block that time. And now the Royals coming out of there with the ball. Here comes Grubbs going coast to coast. Drew the foul, and he'll go to the free throw line. Leck?
Well, I'll tell you, good start to the game so far. We've seen, we've seen multiple players for both sides show a lot of promise. Now Grubbs going to the free throw line. He has 3 points to lead the Royals here. And I'll tell you, this is my first Hamilton Southeastern basketball game in 4 long years. I've really missed covering Royals basketball. They have such a great program. So much talent comes through there in Fishers. There as Grubbs hits the first one, cutting the lead to 1. They've had so much great talent on both the boys and the girls side. I remember the last time I called Hamilton Southeastern, they had 2 Division I players on each side. As Grubbs hits the second one, tying it, he has 4 points now, 7-7. But certainly, it's been a great long tradition there. The problem is in the sectionals that they play in, they've just had a lot of tough luck, and they've really had a hard time advancing in the state tournament. They're hoping to get over that hump this year on both the boys and girls sides. Then now as Grubbs brings it down, tied up at 7, and now he drives to the basket, takes it all the way in, no good. Majak puts it up, and he draws the foul. So certainly, very, very competitive game so far. We see, guys on both sides that are showing a lot of promise for the future. And now Majak will go to the free throw line. His first one is up, and it is no good. So now see the second one. Majak, he hasn't missed a shot badly all night from the floor or the lines. That one no good off the back of the rim, so he's 0 for 2 from the line. But
not to cut you off there, but, we're sort of the rotating troubadours. We go all over the greater area and cover games, so we don't really stick to one team. And Brian Scott probably knows the story better than we do, but it'd be interesting to hear how long he's been involved in basketball.
Yeah, we really don't know the answer to that. I know. Of course, I always use the example of, Indiana Pacers, former Pacers star Rick Smits. He had only been playing basketball for 2 years when he came over to America to attend Marist College. And then 4 years later, he was playing in the NBA. And
3-ball miss that time. Grubbs with the rebound. Majak fadeaway jumper, no good. Rebound to Grubbs. Grubbs up off the glass, no good. And a whistle and a foul. And they're going to get number 10, Bradley Beeman, another freshman, for the Royals on the foul. What's interesting, Leck, you see this Grubbs-Majak combination. It's somewhat on a very small level, and we'll see how they develop. But kind of reminds you of Mike Conley and Greg Oden. Remember, Oden got all the attention.
From Lawrence North, yeah.
But Conley certainly became a great player and has had a much better professional career. And you got to think, you look at Grubbs and you say, wow, there's a really phenomenal player there.
Yeah, certainly, the way he's, already throwing it down, as, certainly they're, excited that they're going to have him back for, now it's no good. And rebound there by Majak, 17 seconds left. And so Zionsville looks like they're going to hold for the last shot, 12 seconds now. Grubbs with the ball near the midcourt line. Grubbs looks very composed.
Yeah, tied at 7. Grubbs with it. He looks like he's going to go one-on-one. Takes it to
3
the foul
seconds.
line. Now to the left block. Goes up. Couldn't get it to go. Drew the foul. And with 1 second to go, Southeastern heads to the free throw line.
Chris Grubbs already a game-high 5 here. Majak has the other 2 points for the Royals. Trying to give him a lead going into the second quarter. First free throw is up. No good off the back of the rim. Very tight game. Teams never separated by more than 2 points. Second free throw is good. 6 points for Grubbs now. 9/10 of a second left for Zionsville. And now a 3/4 length shot, no good at the buzzer there by Mark Smith. So after 1 quarter here tonight in Zionsville, at the end of 1 quarter, your Royals lead the host Eagles by a score of 8-7 here in the JV game. My name is Lex Zorn, joined by Rob Kendall, and we'll be here for about the next 3 hours, bringing you this exciting boys basketball action here. It's an unseasonably warm day. Temperatures have been hovering in the low 50s on this inauguration day, and it's great to be here tonight in Zionsville. We have fans just starting to file in, and we have, looks like we already have in the neighborhood of 50 fans on the Zionsville side, and probably about as many on the Hamilton Southeastern side. Hamilton Southeastern, one of the great one of the great programs here in the state of Indiana, and the conversation is often had. We just wonder what it would be like if they had not split, 12 years ago and formed Fishers High School, and which was Fishers being carved just out of the Hamilton Southeastern system when that community was growing like crazy, and. You can only imagine the talent that, combined, the state championships that they might have had. And, of course, Fishers did win a state championship in football in 2010, only the school's 5th year of existence. And that was impressive, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't like they were starting from scratch either. So now to start off the second quarter here tonight in the JV game, Grubbs takes the inbound pass, brings it up, hands it over to Jordan Hill. Man-to-man defense there by the Eagles now, and now Grubbs takes it down to the baseline, back over it. It's a pass is stolen away there by and Luke Mann drives to the basket and he draws the foul. So it's a nice play by Mann. So Grubbs, an outstanding, very highly skilled player, just got a little sloppy there on that pass. And now Luke Mann will be going to the free throw line. He'll put the Eagles back up if he hits both of them. Luke Mann scored 3 points there in the first quarter. First free throw is up and good, so we're tied. Mann with 4 points. Hogan Arbaugh also has 4, combining for all the Eagles scoring. Second free throw is up and good. So Zionsville regains the lead, 9-8. And Jordan Hill, Josh Fugate brings it down for the Royals, now coming off a pick there. And now Grubbs now inside to Majak. Now out for a three-pointer. No good. Ball tipped, and we got a foul there. I think they're going to get Grubbs for the push.
9-8 our score. 6:17 left to play in the first half of action. I'm Rob Kendall, along with Lex Zorn, filling in for Brian Scott tonight here on Audio Sports Online. Brian will be back with you tomorrow.
Yeah, Brian had a lot to say about the Baseball Hall of Fame voting.
Yeah, you guys had a nice little banter there the other day.
Yeah, it was all very, very friendly and constructive. But so now a three-pointer, no good. Rebound by Majak. I'll tell you, Rob, even when Majak isn't scoring and he only has 2 points tonight so far, when you're 7-1, you're a presence. And, Frank Layden, the longtime coach of the Utah Jazz, always says you can't coach height. And certainly that's very true.
They're going to get a travel this time on the Royals.
So now we've got several substitutions for both sides now. And Luke Mann will inbounds the ball, giving it over to Jake Ritter, who will bring it up for the Eagles. Ritter at 5'11", he's a sophomore. It's interesting, Zionsville does not have any freshmen playing. Does not have any freshmen playing on its varsity or junior varsity rosters tonight. So it's interesting to see Hamilton Southeastern, a school of that size, having 2 freshmen in the starting lineup with Grubbs and Majak. So you got to be really excited if you're a Royals fan about those 3 guys coming back for the next 3 years. A couple of weeks ago, Rob and I commentated the Hendricks County basketball tournament, and we noticed that some of the smaller schools there had freshmen and sophomores who were starting on the varsity, and that it's far less likely to happen in schools of the size of these two. So the fact that Hamilton Southeastern has 2 freshmen starting on JV, that's a tribute to how talented those 2 guys are. His first free throw up and good there. by Ben Alcock. Second one, no good, so it's 2-point lead there by Zionsville. So now on the other end, Grubbs with the ball down at the corner. And
it's really been a back and forth affair, pretty evenly matched teams so far. 10-8 is our overall score in favor of the Eagles, but your Royals are hanging in there.
Yeah, Bradley Beeman with the ball now over to Matt Harris. Now over to Cole Hornbuckle. Jump shot, no good. Rebound by Grubbs, who puts it in.
And put it up and in for two, as you said there that time, Leck. Nice job being able to put the ball back up into the basket.
Yeah, Grubbs with 8 points now, 8 of his team's 10, and we're tied at 10.
So here comes the Eagles now, as that's number 1, Ritter, and the shot no good. Nice job that time by Majak. Majak's so tall, Leck, and you just saw it right there. He doesn't even have to jump for the rebound.
Yeah, he doesn't, and I really wonder if he could dunk flat-footed. The only NBA player I ever remember doing that is George Murasan, who was the 7'7" Romanian, who had a few promising years with the Washington Bullets/Wizards, but then his career was cut short with foot problems.
Well, and that happens to a lot of guys that size.
Yeah, Yao Ming, another one.
Once you surpass, it seems like at least about that 7'1", 7'2" area, it just nice little hook shot that time, no good by Majak, and pulled out there by the Eagles. We'll finish that thought here in just a second as Zionsville comes the other way. Ritter with it, pass down.
Nice pass
that time.
Yeah.
Hoop and the harm. That's completed as that was that was number 21, Mark Smith.
Yeah, on the greatest. Ritter just, he saw the opening and he just threw it in there like a speeding bullet, and Smith got the easy 2, now try to make it a 3-point play.
It's just hard once you get that much bigger than that to really sustain that sort of frame. And as you said, Yao Ming went through that. Sean Bradley.
Yeah, Ralph Sampson.
Yeah, and guys like a Murasan or a Bradley that are so big, that are 7'6" or 7'7", man, what a presence. But gosh, especially the speed the NBA plays, it's hard to get up and down the court. And I don't think those guys could play at the speed the NBA plays at today.
Yeah, so certainly, as Smith completes the 3-point play, putting Zionsville up by 3 here. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of guys like that, that size just tend to break down physically. I mean, it's not easy going through an 82-game NBA schedule. And, of course, I just saw the other day that Greg Oden has, he's now an assistant coach at Ohio State. So, basically effectively ending his playing career after, a few failed comeback attempts.
And now Eagles still with the ball, is nearly a steal by Southeastern that time. It's now 13-10 with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the first half of action. I'm Rob Kendall along with Lex Zorn, filling in for Brian Scott tonight. Brian will be back tomorrow, as that's number 5 for the Eagles, and that's Jordan Hall with it.
Yeah, and now the 3-pointer, no good. Tipped out, though, into the hands of Grubbs. He's one-on-one, and he lays it in.
Check that. That was 25. That was
Dylan Hooks. Yes, so sorry about that. Yeah, stand corrected. The two look very similar from this distance, and one wears 25, the other wears 35. So, but anyway, though, so 1-point lead now. Mark Smith fakes the jumper, now gets inside, no good. Rebound there by Harris, brings it up, finds Beeman, and now back to Harris, takes the 3 from the corner, drives to the basket, over to Beeman, 3, no good. Rebound by Mark Smith, and he gives it over to Jake Ritter, who will bring it up. I've noticed the name Jake making a comeback the last few years in this generation.
It's interesting, too, how evenly it seems like every year a lot of these teams are matched up. It's pretty rare that the Zionsvilles and Southeasterns and those and Fishers are much off each other. The occasional down year here or there, but every year it seems like it's just and nice block that time. A travel.
Oh, they got I thought they were going to get Fugate for. Sorry, I thought they were going to get number 5
Jordan Hall.
Yeah, for the foul there.
Yeah, and that was Hooks that time, taking it to the basket and unfortunately traveled. But it's really just a lot of the time just very evenly matched teams that, we're seeing it again here tonight, 13-12 for midway almost midway through the game, into
Arbaugh,
number 44, up and in for 2, and that'll make it a 15-12 affair.
So Zionsville off to a good start. They threatening to take the lead into the half, 15-12 now over Hamilton Southeastern. Now a long 3, no good. Rebound, and now he gets his own rebound there. That's Josh Fugate there. Now at the top of the key, gives it over to Hornbuckle. Now Fugate again. Now back to Hornbuckle. Fakes the 3, drives to the basket. Now pitches it back to Brandon Miller. Now gives it over to Miller. Gets it back now. Now under a minute to go, and we got a timeout here. I believe that's the first timeout by either team in this game.
Yeah, both teams playing pretty quick, and we've only been at it here about 20 minutes. And we're almost halfway through the ball game. So, yeah, it's been a pretty low foul affair. 7 fouls for the Royals, 5 for the Eagles. And Royals will have the ball out of bounds, down by just 3.
Well, it's great to be here again in Zionsville. Again, my name is Lex Zorn, joined by Rob Kendall, and it's been a great night of basketball so far. Nearly half of the first game done. Then we got the second half, and then we got all the varsity game to cap it off. And I hope you all are enjoying the unseasonably warm weather. Hopefully we'll keep it up for a while, but we'll see. Now with the ball, we've got Fugate with the ball. Jumper just inside the three-point line. No good. Rebound there by Mark Smith. He gives it up to Jordan Hull. And gives it to Jake Ritter, who will bring it up past the midcourt line. 35 seconds to go here in the first half at Zionsville. It's a 15-12 game. Zionsville leading your Hamilton Southeastern Eagles. Ritter with the ball now. And Hamilton Southeastern playing very tough defense. And now miscommunication on the pass. And the layup there by Hornbuckle.
Nope, 25.
Or by Hooks, excuse me. Hooks. Sorry about that. And so 7 seconds left, and Hamilton Southeastern cutting it to 1. 3-pointer there, and it's good there by Jake Ritter, and that's the end of the first half. So as the teams head to the locker rooms, your score here at Zionsville, your Hamilton Southeastern Royals trail the host Zionsville Eagles by a score of 18-14 here on audiosportsonline.com. My name is Lex Zorn, joined by Rob Kendall. We'll be here for quite a few more hours as we've got the second half coming up, and then we've got, of course, the varsity game. These two schools. Pretty
evenly matched first half, 18-14, and obviously that 3 ball at the end of the half really made a huge, huge difference.
Yeah, it did. It's always good to finish with that kind of momentum, and it's one thing that's really interesting in JV ball is that often for a variety of reasons, the substitution patterns are quite a bit different. Very often, obviously in varsity ball, your first and foremost goal is to win the game, whereas in JV ball, sometimes you're just trying to test different players. And another thing, sometimes, you want to make sure everybody, you want to make sure that all the players you want to have a look at get some quality game action. Then also sometimes, you're going to bring a few of the guys, you're going to dress them for the varsity game as well, and you want to make sure that you don't burn the guys out too much. So, like we said, Chris Grubbs got off to a red-hot start and ended up, really not playing much, in the last few minutes of the half. So, could be that they, might dress him for the varsity tonight. But anyway, we had a very good first half. And for your Hamilton Southeastern Royals, it was Chris Grubbs leading the way with 8 points, followed by DeLynn Hooks with 4 and Maymore Majak with 2. And, Majak, he took at least 7 shots and only came away with 2 points. But he looks like he's fairly well skilled already. And the And the shots that he missed, they generally were good shots that just for one reason or another didn't fall. It's not that he was taking bad shots; it's just that he was he was having bad luck, and it happens to the best of them, But anyway, looking at the scoring recap for Hamilton Southeastern, Hogan Arbaugh led the way with 6, followed by Luke Mann with 4, Jake Ritter with 3, Mark Smith with 3, and Ben Alcock with 2. So anyway, it's certainly that that freshman combination of Chris Grubbs, the 6'4" guard, who has a strong inside presence, certainly not afraid to take it inside against bigger guys. And then against Maybor Majak, the 7'1" freshman, who's showing a lot of promise at center. Obviously, that provides a strong foundation for Hamilton Southeastern basketball. Of course, the Royals in recent years have put out a lot of great talent. Of course, last time I commentated Hamilton Southeastern, it was 4 years ago during the senior season of Zach Irvin. He was the guy who got all the publicity. Now a senior at the University of Michigan, had a very solid career there. Very well could be playing some pro ball, possibly in the NBA. Certainly he'll get a lot of opportunities overseas regardless. And then Tyler Jenkins was the guy who really would have been the best player on most teams in the state, but he was really lost in Irvin's shadow. Nevertheless, went on to play Division I ball at Lehigh University before transferring to Bellarmine University, a Division II school there in Louisville, Kentucky. So he's now playing college ball relatively close to home. And then in addition to that, the girls' team, they had Taya Reimer, the center, daughter of former NBA player Ben Davis. Taya started off her college career at Notre Dame and then transferred up to Michigan State. She actually started as a freshman, I believe also as a sophomore in the national championship game before her transfer. And then they had they had basically a counterpart to Tyler Jenkins, a girl who would have been the best player on most teams in the state but was lost in the shadow of Reimer, Jessica Pongonis, who also played Division I ball. She started off also, like Tyler Jenkins at a Pennsylvania school. She was playing at St. Joseph's and now has since transferred to the University of Tulsa. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Taya, previously said she aspires to play in the WNBA. She and her father would become one of just a few father-daughter combinations to play in the NBA and WNBA. And, Hamilton Southeastern also, of course, they have a great football tradition, long member of the Audio Sports Online family. And I've had the pleasure of covering several of their games, including the 2015 season. Their game over at Lucas Oil Stadium when they beat Westfield, who ended up winning the 5A state championship last year. And then also later that season when they beat Brownsburg down at Victory Field. So it's really cool getting to call the Royals in both of the professional sports stadiums here in Indianapolis, just 3 or 4 weeks apart. And that was, a great experience to just to be at those stadiums. And then, of course, obviously a big thrill for the kids. In fact, if I remember correctly, that was only the second football game ever played there at Victory Field, which was voted several years ago by Sports Illustrated as the best minor league baseball stadium in the country. But 4:09 to go here. We got the dance team. Usually in these JV games, there's no halftime entertainment, so really nice of the...
Here, Lack, I got this for you.
Oh, thanks.
Well, you have to share it with me, but I'll talk for a minute so you can have some of that.
Okay, sure, yeah.
There you go.
Thanks for the popcorn.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, welcome everybody to tonight's broadcast, Hamilton Southeastern, Zionsville. I'm Rob Kendall. I'm with Lex Zorn, filling in for Brian Scott. Brian will be back tomorrow. Let's take a look ahead. Of course, we've got the varsity game coming up tonight. And then tomorrow, we're going to be back. Bryant will be back, and it's going to be HSE taking on Southmont. That's also a doubleheader, 6 and 7:30. And then on the 27th, which is a week from tonight, it'll be the JV varsity doubleheader against Noblesville And then the second, it'll be the JV varsity doubleheader at Columbus North. So lots of action coming up as the Royals are heading towards sectional play. And as we always say, Leck, this is really the time where teams kind of start to show their moxie and figure out what sort of season they're going to have.
Yeah, that's right. These teams now in the second half of the regular season. Hard to believe the girls are now right in the final home stretch to start the sectionals just in a couple of weeks. We're, really looking forward to that. And hopefully all the Audio Sports Online schools will go a long way. Hamilton Southeastern, they would win every year. They would win about 90% of the sectionals in the state, both boys and girls, but they always get stuck in the sectionals of death and have a lot of early exits just because there's so much, so many high octane teams here in suburban Indianapolis in the sectionals that they're placed in. And now Zionsville has come back to take the court. And so they definitely, have a lot to feel good about the way they played in the first half. Really, both teams, there were not a whole lot of mistakes made by either team. You expect to see a lot of mistakes in the JV, but a lot of these guys, like Rob and I said earlier, would be playing varsity ball for most teams in the state. Rob and I, we've been the regular commentators for Cascade High School this season. They're a little school about 15 miles west of Indianapolis in Hendricks County. And it's a lovely community there in Clayton where the school is located. But they only have about 450 students, so they don't have they have some quality players, so they just don't have the depth. And, whereas a lot of these guys here, these JV guys, let's face it, 90% of the schools in the state, if they had a guy who was 7-1, he would be playing for the varsity team, and he'd be the starting center. So, it's a nice luxury that Hamilton Southeastern has to develop this young man slowly and get him ready. Of course, he has played a little varsity ball this year. Maybe he'll play some tonight. We'll see. But certainly it should be a very tight game. As like I said, Hamilton Southeastern entering the game tonight at 12-2, Zionsville at 9-3. Now Hamilton Southeastern has returned as well. 39 seconds left in the halftime clock.
Here, Lack, if you want some more of this.
Yeah, why not?
It's one of the added benefits of announcing with Audio Sports Online.
Yes, free popcorn.
You do get some snacks occasionally there. Again, I'm Rob Kendall. I'm with Lex Zorn. Thanks for joining us tonight as your Hamilton Southeastern Royals trail it by 4 in the JV contest and still right in the thick of things. And, of course, we'll have the rest of this one, then the varsity game coming up for you tonight right here on AudioSportsOnline.com. And, well, you guys already know this, but, you can go back and watch any or listen, depending on if it's an audio broadcast. A couple of our games this year are audio only. But you can go back and watch or listen any of these contests anytime you want, totally free of charge, right there on the broadcast page. We load those games up, try to have them up the night of, and then, you can go back and relive the memories. So it's part of what we do here. It's a great thrill for us, and, I just think back to Leck when I was playing sports. Man, it'd be so nice to have had something like this.
Yeah, it is. And, one thing great about it, Rob, you think about all the memories of high school sports in the past that were lost.
Yep.
And the 3 there.
Yeah, Ritter. Nice job by Ritter that time. That'll make it 21-14. The Royals, the visitors tonight, obviously, as we're at Zionsville, and they're in their road blue jerseys. Gray letters and numbers. The Eagles of Zionsville, the home team, home whites, green letters and numbers. And again, we want to thank Mr. Greg Shellhouse and the entire athletic staff at Zionsville doing their usual great job. It's a great place, whether we come here for football or basketball, always so well treated. And we certainly thank them.
Yeah, I just hope, Rob, that we do justice filling in for the great Brian Scott.
Yeah, Brian, having taken a personal night tonight.
He's earned it.
We allow him to do that sometimes. 3 ball on the way, shot up, no good, rebound by the Royals. And, what that means, Leck, when the staff, needs a day off, it's the owner's got to come out and do the work.
Yeah, so now tip there by Bajak, no good, and Zionsville controls the rebound. Hamilton Southeastern's rebounded very well tonight. They just haven't had enough shots fall as they trail by 7 now. But, it has not been a bad effort.
And, especially at the JV level, it's a lot like spring training in baseball. You've got guys in there working on things and trying to get better at things, and maybe you're not always putting your best foot forward because you want guys to get better at certain things.
Yeah, and like I said, also could be that some of these guys, like probably they would have played, if this were a varsity game, they probably would have played Grubbs the entire first half, or at least most of it, but they probably want to take a look at some of these other guys in game action too.
Yeah, so the Royals with the ball, they trail it by 7, 5:15 left to go in the in the third quarter of action, as that is number 20 for Hamilton Southeastern. Harris with it over to 25 Hooks. Around the horn it'll come to Fugate down into Majak. Majak takes it to the hole with the left hand, and nice touch that time, in for 2.
Majak with 4. I'll tell you, I give Majak credit. I mean, he really wants the ball every time down court. I mean, he really tough competitor. And now 3-pointer there. Majak. Yep.
3 ball, and the way that one was good as number 15.
Yeah, Luke Mann.
Mann with it, and now a fadeaway jumper is up and good.
Hooks.
That was Hooks that time.
Yeah.
Hooks is a great little player, too. These Royals really have 3 guys out there right now who you say, man, they could be some big-time varsity talent. And here over the next couple of years, loose ball now picked up by Grubbs. And a foot race out of there. Here come the Royals as there's a little give and go into Grubbs. Grubbs will go up with it, but a foul before the shot.
Yeah, and Grubbs, I'm sorry. On that last 3-pointer there by Mann, I give credit. I mean, Majak, he ran really hard over there to the perimeter to try to block the shot. He wasn't successful, but he showed good effort and good speed, more than I would have expected. Now he drives to the basket. The ball knocks away, but he chases down the rebound, gets it, drives to the basket himself, puts it up, and he's fouled. So Majak going to the free throw line for 2. His team trailing by 6. It's 24-18 here in the third quarter. Here on audiosportsonline.com, my name is Lex Zorn, joined by Rob Kendall. No good on the... and now we've got another foul. Majak going back to the line now. That foul going on Jordan Hull. Yeah, DeLynn Hooks, actually, he's a junior, 6 feet, so they will have him back for one more year, but certainly, obviously, we're excited about Grubbs and Majak, especially being there for 3 more years, as Majak hits the first free throw.
First one up and good, and as you said, that'll cut the lead now to 5.
So Majak with 5 points on the game now, 3 here in the half. Second free throw, good. He hit it, so he hit them both. So it's 6 points now for Majak. Hooks also has 6, while Grubbs has 8, accounting for all 20 Hamilton Southeastern points here. Now the other end, and now steal there, and now there's a quick foul there by Mark Smith as Josh Fugate was driving to the basket. So possibly thinking that Fugate was going to get the easy layup. So now inbounds pass here by Grubbs. Looks like he's going to throw into Beeman.
Just a 4-point lead for the Eagles, and that was right where we left it at halftime. So we've played about 4.5 minutes here in the third. Well, I'm sorry, 3.5 minutes because they play only 7-minute quarters. But no change. We're right where we left it. And I see Brian Satterfield, head coach for your Royals, varsity Royals, down there watching the game from the corner.
Now 3-pointer there, no good. Rebound though by Grubbs. Puts it up. It blocks, however, but they got a foul. Will Alcock, Mark Smith made a block attempt. I didn't see the contact from my vantage point, but the referee apparently did. So now Grubbs going to the free throw line.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been announcing Royals basketball in some, as the first free throw, no good, in some shape, form, or fashion since 2003. And Brian Satterfield's been there the whole time. And in current high school basketball, that's an eternity as far as tenure,
Yeah, it is. And, it's really inspiring when you see one player, one guy stay with the community for a long time. Like another rare example, Jack Kiefer out there at Lawrence North. Is he still there?
I don't know. That's interesting. I have to look that up.
He was there for at least in the neighborhood of 35
Well,
years.
you used to see it all the time. The second free throw rattles around and falls down. Lead is 3 now, 24-21. But you just don't see it anymore. Really, just the amount of time the coach is staying at one place a long time.
Yeah, it's certainly it's heartwarming whenever it does happen. There, you have a 3-pointer in and out by Ritter, and rebound there by Bradley Beeman. And well, it's interesting looking at Beeman. He's another freshman on this JV team, 5'8". And looking at him next to the 7'1" Majak. Hard to believe they're both high school. Hard to believe they're in the same grade.
Reminds you of Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. So now drive to the baseline. Pitches out to Grubbs, now over to Beeman there on left perimeter. Takes it over, passes it back to Hooks. So 2:35 to go now. Hamilton Southeastern, doing a lot of passing, and then we got to travel there by Beeman. One of 4 freshmen here on the roster for the Royals, along with Hornbuckle, Grubbs, and Majak.
Yeah, you got that many freshmen out there, and that's a good problem to have. But you're going to get those growing pains, when you have guys that are. Think about it. Last year, they're playing 8th grade junior high basketball or middle school basketball.
Oh yeah.
Now back the other way, going coast to coast. Hooks with the right hand, up and in for 2.
Cuts the lead to 1. So 2:11 here to go in the third quarter. Hooks has 8. 3 guys doing all the scoring so far for the Royals. Hooks, Majak, and Grubbs. So now jump shot there by Arbaugh. No good, but he gets his own rebound. Now passes over to Ritter, drives to the baseline, turns around, heads over past the 3-point line. Now passes it over to Mark Smith. Jump shot, swish, and Smith has 5, and it's a 3-point lead now for the Eagles. 26-23, 1:37 to go. Now Hooks now a 3-pointer. He hit it.
Wow, big step back shot that time. That was a long distance 3. Very impressive. His inside-outside game. We talked about Grubbs a whole bunch in the first half. Hooks really becoming the dominating figure for your Royals here in the second.
Now a 3-pointer from the other end, no good. Rebound Majak, 1:15 to go. He brings it down himself. Nice ball handling there. Gives it up to Grubbs, who takes to the basket. Now deflected out of bounds to Zionsville. So,
and that really shows you the skill set that kid has.
Yeah.
That a guy that size as a freshman could run the floor like that. I mean, it shows he's got something to grow into.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You've got to be excited you got him back for 3 more years. Yeah, we've seen some sensational freshmen, during our years of broadcasting. Of course, going to football, who can forget Tokes Akron Rabate? And you probably see more, super freshmen, in basketball than football. Where, because, football, physical development's even more important. But, yeah, of course, we saw Tokes Akron Rabate, a 4-year starter in football for Brownsburg, now playing at the University of Iowa. But anyway, back to action here. Tied under a minute to go in the third quarter here at Zionsville. Your Royals 26 and Zionsville 26. Now on the other end, newly into the game, jump shot no good. Rebound Arbaugh pitches it out to Ritter for 3, no good. Rebound batted out, and Ritter picks it up again. 33 seconds now in the quarter. And so Ritter fakes the 3, drives, spins, and he travels.
Yeah, I got to turn the ball back over to your Royals with a chance for them to take the lead. It's been a long time since they had the lead. I think they've tied it up a couple times, been within 1 point, but really been a long time since they had that lead.
Indeed, it is. So now inbounds to Beeman. 26 seconds, pass up to Grubbs. Now over to Fugate, up court down to Hooks. Finds Grubbs, who puts it in. Grubbs mishandled the pass at first, but got control and then laid it in. He has 11, tied with Hooks for the team lead. And Majak has 6 to round out the scoring. 8 seconds to go. Hamilton Southeastern with a 2-point lead. 4 seconds to go now. Ritter now loses control of the ball. Grubbs gets it 1 second, puts it up from past almost half court, and it's no good. So, 1 quarter left to play here at Zionsville. Your Hamilton Southeastern Royals have just taken the lead over the host Zionsville Eagles by a score of 28-26 here on audiosportsonline.com. My name is Lex Zorn. I'm joined by Rob Kendall. We're filling in for the legendary Brian Scott, and we hope we do at least half as good a job as Brian does. But nevertheless, we're honored to be here tonight for this great doubleheader here between Zionsville and Hamilton Southeastern. We already have the fans here on the Zionsville side really starting to pile up. And we have, probably in the neighborhood of 75 fans on the Hamilton Southeastern side now. Probably have about 400 or 500 here on the Zionsville side, and we're confident that especially with the good weather and more people being out, we're going to have, a few hundred more people filing in here tonight before the start of the varsity game. And certainly a lot to, be excited about going down the stretch for both of these programs. Your Royals, both the boys and girls, doing very well. The girls ranked number 6 in the state. Boys ranked number 11. Both hoping to get sectional championships this year.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you mentioned this very early on, but 2 of the fastest growing communities in the state of Indiana here, and it really changes the face of the community. I mean, the way Hamilton Southeastern, as we're back to action here, we'll finish that thought at the next dead ball. Just going to comment on how much, just even in 10 years.
Fugate swishes a 3.
Yeah, nice shot that time.
Fugate started, but those were his first points, and he puts Hamilton Southeastern by 5. That's their highest lead of the game.
Just the rapid growth. Like I said, I've been covering Southeastern since at least 2003. Fadeaway jumper up, no good. Rebound put up, and in for 2.
Arbaugh.
Yeah, nice job that time as Royals couldn't get him blocked out and put it up and in for 2. But just a town that just the Fishers area and, of course, Zionsville, explosive growth would be the best way to describe it. 3 ball off, no good. Rebound pulled down. Long pass.
Wow.
Back down by
perfect.
Ritter, put up and in for 2.
Wow, perfect down-court pass. The timing was brilliant, and Ritter was well covered, but he got it and put it in. So suddenly a 4-point splurge by Zionsville cuts the lead to 1.
Ball knocked away that time, now pulled down by your Eagles, and the Royals now are going to really have to buckle down here on defense with just that 1-point lead.
Yes. So now Mark Smith with the ball, posts up, hook shot, no good. And ball knocked out of bounds to Hamilton Southeastern. 5:34 to go. Royals with a 1-point lead, 31-30.
Well, if you're just tuning in, as Leck has said a couple times tonight, Rob Kendall along with Lex Zorn filling in for Brian Scott. He'll be back tomorrow night. Your Royals leading it in JV action. Varsity up next. Royals ahead 31-30. They've got the ball. And Bradley Beeman with it, flips to the left side. Now it'll come to Grubbs at the foul line in the lane. Pass down into the big guy. Lost the handle on it. Now gets it back. And it'll come to Grubbs. Little running jumper up off the glass, around and down. And the bank was open late.
Chris Grubbs, game high 13 for Hamilton Southeastern, 33-30, 5:02 to go. Ritter brings it up for the Eagles. Over to Mark Smith. Dribbling near midcourt. Now passes over there to Luke Mann. Now inside to Arbaugh, but it's tipped away. And Hooks with it. Brings it up. Tries to take it all the way himself, and he does. So Hooks now with 13 points, tying for the team lead with Grubbs.
Now Hooks, of course, a junior, so we will really expect to see him in varsity action next year, and he'll be a senior leader.
Most certainly, yes. So Ritter now, and good job, by the way, by Hamilton Southeastern, after, and now it's suddenly a drive to the basket there, and nice pass, and Arbaugh puts it up, but it's going to be a foul. There's some kind of call against...
Travel was the call against the Eagles.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Yeah, the ref had his back to me. But, yeah, it was a nice job, though, by Hamilton Southeastern. After they gave up those 4 consecutive points where the Zionsville cut the lead to 1, Hamilton Southeastern went on a 4-0 run of their own to put it back up to 5. And now a jump shot there, swish there, by Grubbs. He has a game-high 15, and now it's a 7-point lead. So 6-0 run by the Royals under 4 minutes to go now. And now we got a timeout in Zionsville.
Got timeout by the Eagles, 3:54 to play in the contest, 37-30. Your Royals with the lead. That's the biggest lead of the game for them.
Yes, it is. And certainly they really come alive here. They trailed by 4 at the end of 1. So it's been an 11-point turnaround here in the second half. They've gotten really good effort. Chris Grubbs with 15, DeLind Hooks with 13, Maybor Majak with 6, and Josh Fugate with 3. So it has been a very balanced effort. And Zionsville hasn't played badly, but Hamilton Southeastern's just played very, very well. And certainly showing a lot of future for this program, Look forward to, hopefully covering these guys as seniors in the year 2020. And certainly if I'm trying to think how many 7-foot-plus guys have ever come out of the state of Indiana.
Man, it's pretty rare, especially at a JV level, to come in. We were mentioning Rick Smits, the great pacer. His son played for Zionsville, graduating a couple of years ago. He was very close to that 7-foot mark. I don't think he ever quite hit it.
Yeah, I don't know how tall his mom was, but I know Rick's parents were both tall. And Derek Smits, Rick's son, now playing up at Valparaiso University, so he ended up being a Division I guy in his own right.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure, especially being a big kid, to have a dad as nearly a steal that time by the Royals, and it does turn into a steal as they'll get it ahead to Hooks, and Hooks will get it to Beeman. Beeman back to Hooks. Hooks with it. Over to Beeman. Beeman will flip it left side. Over to Fugate. Fugate to Beeman.
Yep.
Now back to Beeman.
Yeah, Beeman, one of 4 freshmen here on this team for Hamilton. And alley-oop to Majak didn't work out, but Grubbs got the rebound, pitches it over to Hooks, and now we got a timeout by Hamilton Southeastern.
Yeah, timeout, full timeout called by your Royals there. They lead at 37-30, 3:07 left to go in the ballgame. It does have to be tough, though, being a big kid and being the son of an NBA, an NBA legend or superstar. I mean, Smits was not a Hall of Famer by any stretch, but he was certainly very well revered here in Indiana. And you're still here, and you're Rick Smits' kid. That's not an easy thing to do, and he ended up doing a pretty good job ending up at Valparaiso.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I don't know how tall Derek's mom is. And, Rick, even though he wasn't a major star, he did play his entire career with the Pacers. In fact, I believe he's third all-time. He has the third longest playing tenure for the Pacers ever, behind Reggie Miller and Jeff Foster. So even though he wasn't, like you said, a Hall of Famer, he's still very well liked and respected among Pacers fans. And obviously, he had some great moments, especially that game-winning shot in the 95 playoffs where he hit on Memorial Day. Yeah, that'll probably be what he's forever remembered for against the Bulls, right? The Magic, actually. I'm sorry, the Magic. Yeah, that's right. That was when they had Shaq and Anthony Hardaway, when it looked like they were going to be the dynasty in the East. But then, of course, obviously that was shattered when Jordan came back and then Shaq went to the Lakers. So, anyway, back to action here. Fugate hands it over to Grubbs, posts up, now takes it back out. 2:48 to go. Hamilton Southeastern with the lead and a 7-point lead. And now we got a foul here with 2:46 to go. And one thing you don't think about, that it's just commonplace for a guy, normal-sized guys like us, is it's probably hard to be 7-1. Oh, yeah. I remember one time, when I was living on the northeast side, I occasionally ran into Majak, puts up a jump shot, no good, and a rebound there by Mark Smith, brings it up, and now on the other end, Jake Ritter with the ball, and now by Hooks, yeah, that's thrown down court to a nice lay in there by Grubbs, who has a 17 now. And that pretty well should do it. 9-point lead, 2:21 to go. Inside there to Orba. And knocked out of bounds to Zionsville. But I would occasionally run into Ray Tolbert at the grocery store, former IU star.
Yeah.
And he was, I think, 6'8" or 6'9", and I was watching him when he would push his shopping cart, and he would always be slumped over. And I was thinking, man, that's got to take it, And now an interception there on the pass there by Hooks. Hooks, he takes it in. Oh, reverse layup, no good. Loose ball controlled there by Ben Alcock. 1:57 to go now. But I was thinking, man, as a three-pointer there by Jake Ritter, in and out, rebound by Grubbs, knocked away from him, and but controlled there by Hamilton Southeastern. So now Hooks with the ball, drives to the basket, and we got a whistle here.
I think they're going to get a foul on his way to the basket. If it is, that'll be the 7th team foul on the Eagles, which will mean Hooks will be at the free throw line. Go ahead.
Yeah, hard to believe only one foul all half against Hamilton Southeastern.
There's our good friend Marcus Fredwell.
Hey, Marcus, how you doing?
Marcus, part of the Audio Sports Online family, occasionally does commentary for us.
First free throw is up and good. So it's a 10-point lead, first double-figure lead of the game for either team.
Yeah, old Ray Tolbert, he later went on to play in the NBA for a while.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And then he ended up coaching in the newly reformed ABA for a while. He coached high school basketball for a while.
Yeah.
He was with Fishers as an assistant coach.
Yes.
And, yeah, he was a member of the 81 national championship team.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. There's several guys, Isaiah Thomas, Randy Whitman, Ted Kitchell, Jim Thomas, and several guys on that team made the NBA, including Tolbert. And last I heard, Tolbert, he was serving as a minister here in the Indianapolis area.
I got to know Ray. I used to do this was a lifetime ago, but I used to do the official national talk show for the American Basketball Association.
All right.
And he was part of I think it was the Anderson team, the Anderson Alley Cats, or
yeah, that's right.
Something
that was
of
it. Yeah.
that feature. And so we talked to Ray and saw him at the league meetings, and very nice guy. Nice guy.
Yeah, he is. I briefly met him one time, but anyway, when I would see him, I was thinking, God, I can only imagine what it's like to live like that, We're just every time you push a grocery cart, you have to hunch over, That's got to really take its toll on your back. So,
and the Royals, despite being up 11, their biggest lead of the game, continue to play very hard here on defense.
Yes, to their credit.
And that is a good sign. And one other thing you got to like to see by both of these teams, but especially here for the Royals, just one team foul in the second half, Leck, and that shows they're really moving their feet, playing good defense. Yes,
indeed. So many good things to say about this game tonight, and it's really, especially in the second half. They've outscored Zionsville by 15. The second quarter margin, the second half margin has been, get this, a 27-12, and they're now Beeman 5'8" gets the rebound there, 1:11 to go. So a 27-12 rebound. And now Zionsville playing very tough defense. Ritter nearly got a steal, but he stepped on the line. Or they might have gotten him for a foul first. No, I think Hamilton Southeastern took the timeout. I give Zionsville a lot of credit that they have played very hard regardless. But, I'm thinking, I bet a lot of these guys, 6'8", 6'9", and above, I bet a lot of them ended up having back problems. Because think about all the times they have to bend into awkward positions.
Yeah, it is interesting. And, I just think about that being in high school, being 7'1", being a freshman, and being 7'1". It's got to be being that much taller than your classmates even. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But he's going to be a really good player. You can definitely tell. A lot of great ball handling ability. The ability to run the floor there was very impressive.
Yeah.
And he'll get better at those shots. He'll get better at the touch, and he'll grow into that frame. So I'm sure Brian Satterfield is just very, very excited about the future of having that young man involved.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And, you mentioned Ray Tolbert. There's a piece of trivia about him. Back in 1997 when Bob Knight was hiring a new assistant coach, he actually offered the job to Tolbert, who turned it down. He felt it was his time to pursue a career in ministry, and Then that vacancy was filled by Mike Davis, and then Tolbert later reflected on that. Had he accepted that job, would he have been the one who ended up getting the head coaching job, which of course went to Davis for 6 years?
Yeah.
So
and the IU coaching carousel since Knight is indeed an interesting one.
It is, and it'll be interesting to see how much longer Tom Crean lasts. Although they have gotten a couple of good wins this week, so maybe they'll get it turned around. But certainly that Nebraska loss hurt. But now on the other end, a near steal there. Very few sloppy plays in this game by either team, and now we got a foul there.
Yeah, you mentioned IU, and obviously, as a lot of these kids would love to someday end up being Hoosiers and playing out there. But yeah, that's very interesting. The coaching carousel since Knight, and we were talking about this, I think, on another. Maybe the Cascade broadcast last week, Leck, that it seems hard to believe that the last guy to coach before Crean was the broadcaster now, the guy that's
Dan Dockich.
Dan Dockich.
Yeah,
and it seems like that was forever ago, but I guess Crean's been there that long.
9
now.
years, yeah. He's the longest-serving coach at IU since Knight. Davis was there for 6 years, Sampson for less than 2, and then as first free throw there is good there by Fugate. But yeah. He was there for then Dan Dockich took over as interim coach, lasted 7 games, closing out the season. As sadly the team pretty well quit on him.
A lot of people wanted them to hire Dockich too, which is really interesting.
Yeah, and of course he had coached 2 years before that at Bowling Green, but as head coach, and he is a longtime assistant at IU, of course, but.
And then interesting thing, we mentioned Dockich because his son played at Zionsville. We covered them quite a bit while his son was here, a good little guard.
Yeah.
And ended up, I think, playing college somewhere.
That's good, yeah.
So the Royals are going to take this one home. They lead it by 13. Now make that 11 as Hull lays it in. Full court press. Whistle, quick foul by the Eagles, but that's only, that's the 19th foul, so that'll put it'll be free throws the rest of the way.
I'll tell you, that defensive lapse there by Hamilton Southeastern was one of maybe only 3 or 4 bad mistakes they made the whole game.
Yeah, not many easy baskets tonight for the Eagles, and it's interesting because early on, Eagles were looking pretty proficient, and they were shooting the ball very well from outside, but really, as this first free throw up, we'll do the math here, it is around and good, as that was number 20.
Matt Harris.
Yeah, Matt Harris for the Royals there. Now the lead is 12, so that means they've outscored them. Well, we'll see if this one goes down. That one's no good. That means they've outscored the Eagles by 16 points here in the second half.
Yeah, and by the way, with that free throw by Matt Harris, it now means that all five Hamilton Southeastern starters have scored, and they do account for all 44 Royal points tonight.
I was just going to comment. We haven't seen hardly any substitutions tonight for the Royals. And now coming up next, we'll have the varsity game, or as we usually do when Brian's here. We'll disconnect the stream for a little bit. We'll save this game down to get it ready for archiving tonight, and then we'll be back connected. Then you'll have a little be able to watch the video while we won't have audio with it for a while. We'll get our bearings about us and try to get some starting lineups ready for you. Then we'll have our broadcast. So should be an exciting varsity game coming up.
So for Hamilton Southeastern, they went with 3 freshmen and 2 juniors tonight. First free throw is up and good.
He used it all.
Yep, he did. So now trying to make it 2 for 2. That cuts the lead to 11. Second free throw. They both bounced around a lot, but finally fell through. So Kyer Murray getting 2 points, and near steal there, 10 seconds left, knocked out of bounds with 10.5 to go. But yeah, the freshmen, Grubbs, Majak, and Beeman, and then of course they have Fugate is the junior, and Hooks a junior as well. And now the ball knocked out of bounds with 8.8 seconds to go to Zionsville. Also, Matt Harris saw some action. He's a sophomore. So now Zionsville with one last chance. Camden Collings with the ball, 3-pointer now. He hit it.
Yeah, nice fadeaway. Nice.
So and that'll do it. So your final score here tonight at Zionsville, the Hamilton Southeastern Royals win the JV game by a score of 44-37. The scoring was all done by the starting lineup. You had Chris Grubbs with 17, Dylan Hooks with 13, Maybor Majek with 7, Josh Fugate with 5, and Matt Harris with 1.
Yeah, so that'll cap our first game of the night as the Zionsville Eagles fall to your Hamilton Southeastern Royals. Leck and I are going to take a little pause, and then we will be back with varsity action here on AudioSportsOnline.com.
See ya.